This is my personal PC. It's a little bit overkill as it stands, but it's something I'm going to use every day, and so I kind of wanted to splurge just a little bit. I'll give you a quick rundown. It's got an i9 13900K under this AIO, or all-in-one cooler, which is a water cooler, and it's a 360 millimeter radiator on that. 64 gigabytes of DDR5 6000 megahertz RAM, and it already has two 980 Pro drives in it. Those drives are M.2 NVMe drives, and they max out at about 7 gigabytes a second throughput. So right now I've tested it, and it does peak at 14,000 or 14 gigabytes or 14,000 megabytes a second throughput. And I was thinking it's not quite enough. So what I did was, I've got a couple more. So I'm going to put in 4 980 Pros. These are all 1 terabyte, and see if I can get it up to 28,000 gigabytes, or 28,000 megabytes a second, or 28 gigabytes a second throughput. We'll see how that works. Stay tuned. Here's a speed test on my 2 980 Pros. They're 1 terabyte each, and that's basically 14 gigabytes a second throughput, or 14,000 megabytes a second throughput. Now let's find out what happens when I add 2 more. Okay, I've got all 4 980 Pro drives in place. M.2 NVMe drives, so 1, 2, 3, 4. Now I just have to configure it in a RAID 0, and we'll get moving on the next test. So I got to my Intel Rapid Storage Technology settings. Right now I've got 1 RAID volume at RAID 0 with 2 drives in it, and then here are the 2 next drives I've got to add in. See what the speed is when I'm done. Reinstalling Windows 10, because of course I had to wipe the other partition, or the other RAID, when I created the new RAID. All 4 980 Pros in a RAID 0. Speed test, little disappointing. Under 19 gigabytes a second. I'm not quite sure why. I looked it up online here, and everything was a PCI Express 4 connection, or socket. So I'm not quite sure why, unless maybe one of them is connected to the SATA, and because it says SATA on the bottom one here, maybe that one's slower because it's connected to SATA. But it certainly didn't do full speed. So, overkill, yes. Am I going to keep all 4 in there? No, I'm just going to stick with 2, I think. If I had gotten full speed out of that RAID 0, I might have kept every drive in there, but it just doesn't seem to make sense. If I'm not going to get the full benefit of it, I'll just use those drives somewhere else. Thanks for watching. Please follow for more content like this.